What we fishermen refer to as sandgrass or muskgrass, some even call it skunkweed, forms a dense carpet on the bottom within the littoral zone of many of our northern lakes. And to get right to the point, smallmouth bass absolutely love it. And in this video, I'm going to show you precisely why. Furthermore, I'll show you how to fish it most effectively. Hi guys, I'm Kim Stricker, and thanks for your interest in hook and look splash videos. I sincerely hope you're learning from our underwater perspective. Often mistaken as a rooted vascular plant, sandgrass in actuality is a multicellular algae within the genus Chara. Chara is grainy to the touch with a crunchy texture and has a distinctive musty odor, which its latter nicknames were derived. This particular species of Chara you see here is native to Michigan and rarely grows any taller than 18 inches and benefits the host water body. Although Chara has no roots, it does have holdfasts, which allow it to attach to the bottom, helping stabilize bottom sediments. Most significant to the smallmouth is that Chara supports insects and small aquatic animals, which are food sources for them as well as a variety of other fish. Crayfish use the sandgrass as shelter, burrowing beneath its canopy, concealing themselves from hungry predators.
There's definitely a lot of sandgrass across the bottom here. There was a lot of crayfish here also. I'm seeing one that's darting right now. There's a ton of them. They're right at the edge of the sandgrass.
With that said, when crayfish venture outside the sandgrass, they become highly vulnerable, and smallmouth are aware of that fact and take advantage of the buffet. On this early October day, my son Danny and I had the pleasure of observing a hungry school visibly in pursuit of the crawdads, with bellies bulging with ill-fated crustaceans.
Yeah, here's a couple bass. Look to your left. Looking for crayfish, it looks like, Danny. Yeah, I've noticed them a few times come down and tuck their noses out. There's a whole bunch of crayfish here.
It's unclear to me why so many crayfish wandered out in the open, away from the security of the sandgrass. But if this is any indication, I'm guessing the mudbug spawn was going on. Those two should get a room. Furthermore, following the spawn, the males will molt, shedding their exoskeletons, and afterward, they're softer and easier for the smallies to eat and digest. Here we witnessed a smallmouth seemingly playing with a crayfish, much like a cat and a ball of yarn. But more likely is that the smallmouth is testing its prey to see how hard the shell is and determining if it wants to eat it or not. Or maybe it was just the intimidating presence of a scuba diver with a camera that saved this little crayfish from its final fate.
Smallmouth keep circling. At least a dozen here. They're looking for food. They're looking for crayfish. And what color are those crayfish?
The crayfish we observed this day varied in color. Most were a light tan with a pale belly and blue pinchers, such as this one. Others were dark bluish purple on the back with light greenish blue pinchers. In some lakes, the invasive rusty crayfish have been unintentionally introduced and flourish, outcompeting the smaller native species. They're a darker brown with a distinct brown patch on the side of their carapace and large, lanky dark pinchers with a vague blue hue. When it comes to crayfish imitating lures, none are more effective for smallmouth bass than a tube bait. They appear natural, and as they're crawled across the bottom, their tentacle-looking legs will raise like a crayfish raising its pinchers in defense. The colors I choose when imitating these crayfish are any green pumpkin blend that contains some purple or blue flake, And after viewing the previous underwater footage, you can clearly understand why. Now stay with me and don't click off the video yet, because the most valuable information I'm about to share, and it's what brings this all together, and if applied properly, will deliver you much more success in and around the sandgrass. First, let me begin by recommending that you use an internal tube jig head with an exposed hook, and not a Texas rig tube with an external bullet weight. This for two reasons. One is, a tube with an internal jig head will spiral when it falls. With a bullet weight, it will fall straight down without this attractive spiral action. Secondly, I feel you'll get more hookups with an exposed hook. Furthermore, you want the bait to hang up in the grass occasionally. By doing so, it forces you to rip it free. The sudden dart out of the grass imitates a crayfish bolting and triggers smallmouth into biting. Often I've observed smallmouth watch crayfish as they crawl along, even taunt them as they raise their claws for protection. It's when they dart, that sudden erratic motion, that'll trigger hesitant fish into striking, often from a distance. I'm not saying they never strike a crayfish when it's crawling along slowly, but you'll get more strikes by presenting the tube with short pops. My friends refer to the presentation as cracking a tube, which is simply employed by snapping or popping the bait on slack line, much like a jerkbait. This imparts a darting, scooting, erratic motion. Another tip is that I recommend using a premium fluorocarbon leader, like Seaguar Gold Label. Gold Label outperforms in clear water because it's ultra thin, yet doesn't sacrifice strength. This means it's less visible and helps deliver a more natural presentation. In closing, let me share with you one more noteworthy video. This one I captured while scoping out the water with my Aqua-Vu camera. I was able to document how groups of smallmouths will use Chara to settle in and comfortably rest on the bottom like a dog on a warm blanket. Let's watch that again. One by one, they'll emerge from the bed of sandgrass. Kinda sorry I disturbed them. Thanks for watching, and let me know if you learned something from this video.